Hello, everyone, and welcome to Exhibition B of Grand Arena Championship. So this is the first time we're having the full 4-week session of Grand Arena. So excited to see how the matchmaking shapes out as we enter into the second, third, and fourth weeks. So brief overview about the teams that I'm facing this time. We have 8 people, and again, just like the last Grand Arena match, I'm the only one in Division 2, and we have the other 7 people from Division 1. So let's take a quick look at the matchup. So this is an overview of all my opponents. Most of them are ranging in GP from 4.6 to 5.5. So total, the top 80 GP is the same for all of us. We are at about 1.6. So that's, I think, like I mentioned last time, that's basically what is being used to index on deciding the matchups. But I'm sure there are many other hidden factors like probably zetas or legendary characters or mods. I'm not sure exactly what else is being used, but the matchups look pretty close. So I think that there must be something else going on in the background as well to match people up. Um, we all have almost similar amounts of G12s. We've got a couple of guys and two, three guys which are more than 5 million GP who've got more than 100 G12s. But the rest of us almost have got the same amount of G12s, around 70 to 75. 70 to 75 zetas for all of us as well. Mods also more or less equal mods everywhere. All of us have got about 100 60 mods, and around the same amount of speed mods as well. The other addition that I've added over here, I've added a table towards the end, which also talks about how they performed in the last exhibition match. So as you can see over here, all of them are Division 1 and I'm Division 2. And everyone reached the bronzium stage except for a couple of guys, Baruba and Artovius, who only reached the carbonite stage last time. And looking at the total number of points that they scored, which is Darth Orvius, for example, scored 2160, which is exactly 720 multiplied by 3. So that tells me that Darth Orvius probably just joined Grand Arena Championships last time in the exhibition match, probably set auto defense or just set defense and did not bother to attack. And that's why, and didn't even complete any feats. So that's why the score is exactly 2160. Probably same case must be something similar must be the case with Baruba as well. Probably didn't bother attacking after setting defenses or just attacked once. And that's why both of them are still in carbonite, but everyone else is in bronzium. And if you see the overall championship score, that's a very good indicator of how successful the opponents were in the previous setup. So anything between 9,000 and 9,500 championship score would mean that they won all three of the matches. Between 8,000 and 8,500 would mean that they won about 2 out of 3 matches. So the first two in the graph over here, Gimme's X and I Spear, those seem to have done pretty well in the matchups, and their ranks are pretty high compared to the rest of us over here in Bronzium. Um, so that's just an overview of this. A quick note about how I compile this information. Some of you asked me in the comments last time whether I have a template or something which pulls this automatically. It's just an ordinary Excel sheet that I enter the data manually in. What I do is I go to one of the Discord servers which has a DSR bot, and that has all this information readily available. So I just pull the information for each of my 7 opponents after the lock, and just type these values in. That's basically it. There's no complicated template that I use to pull this stuff in. But there are a lot of resources these days for you to analyze your opponents. It's good to take a look at it, so just so that you know exactly who you're facing. And just like I mentioned last time, overall GP is not as important anymore. Mods, zetas, the kind of meta teams you have, all that stuff is much more important than your overall GP. Overall, I think the matchup is pretty even. Initially, last Grand Arena, when I saw the initial matchup and saw the folks over 5 million, I was a little shocked too. But in the end, it ended up being a pretty even match, and I ended up enjoying it much more than any of the previous 17 seasons of Grand Arena that I've had. All right, so let's go ahead and Before we move on to the actual match, I want to talk about something. So I've been since the last Grand Arena last week, when I was about 4.3 million. I have added about almost 200k GP since then, and I've been doing this just primarily for one reason, and that's because I have a hypothesis that it's for the same amount of banners, you get a much higher rank if you're in Division One than if you're in Division Two. And that's basically because in Division Two, you probably will be facing slightly easier opponents, and you'll have more people over there who might be scoring more efficiently and might be scoring more banners. And the same amount of banners that you have will probably get you much higher if you're in Division One, where the competition is much more tougher, and you probably will face uh, more tougher opponents who will probably put a tougher defense, and you'll end up losing a little more on efficiency. And so to test this, at the end of the last week of Grand Arena Championship, the first exhibition, what I did was I took a snapshot of Division 2, the number 50 rank over there. So Division 2, 9,572 points gets you got us a 50 rank in the first Grand Arena exhibition match. Compared to Division 1, you only needed 9,550 points. So about 22 points less, and you would still end up in the top 50 if you were in Division 1. So just shows that it's more likely that that Division 2, you need much higher efficiency and much higher points to rank higher as opposed to Division 1. And for me, since anyway I'll be facing all my opponents that I faced in the last Grand Arena match and this week's Grand Arena match are in Division 1, so it really doesn't make a difference whether I'm in Division 1 or Division 2 if I'm going to face the same opponents. The rewards are going to end up being better in Division 1, and for the same amount of banners that I get, I'll probably score a much higher rank in Division 1. So that's the main reason I started accelerating my GP, and I couldn't I ended up activating all my ships that I hadn't activated. Ended up putting mods on all the characters that I didn't have, just in order to reach 4.5 million exactly for this Grand Arena. I fell short by about 10 15k, but I'm sure by the next Grand Arena Championship I should be there. So to prove this hypothesis of Division 2 being more competitive than Division 1, what I also did was I took a look at my guild scores. So what I did was I compared a couple of guys in my guild who were very closely ranked to each other, but one of them was in Division 1 and the other one was in Division 2. And I wanted to compare their scores to see how exactly they're ranking, because top 50, the difference was about 22 points, uh, at an equivalent score of rank 50. The difference was about 22 points between Division 1 and Division 2. But as you go a few hundred ranks down the order, the difference is even more stark. So to give an example, number 3 over here, Meister, he's in Division 2 and he scored 9,511 points. 9,511 points got him rank 596 in Division 2. Now, the person below him, Duka, who was in Division 1, got lesser points than him, about 19 points lesser than him, at only 9,492, but he was in Division 1. And as opposed to 596 that the Division 2 guy got, the Division 1 guy, with 19 points lesser, got about 200 to 300 ranks better in Division 1. So this just goes to show that Division 1 is just more competitive. Your efficiency will end up being lesser, and it's if you're already at the high end of Division 2, it's much better for you to just go ahead and power all the way through Division 1, because you'll anyway end up getting more or less the same opponents, but you'll end up getting better rewards and you'll end up getting a better rank. I'll probably do the same exercise at the end of this week and at the end of the Grand Arena Championship at the end of 4 weeks as well, just to compare between the same number of points in Division 1 and 2, just to prove whether it's right or not. But I have a gut feeling that seems right, and Division 1 is probably the place to be if you're mid to high Division 2 already. All right, so let's go over to my current opponent, and I'm currently facing Barish, who's the last column over here, and compared to him, I am so he's got slightly more GP than me, but I probably and we are probably very similar in terms of G11, G12, and Zetas. But I do outmod him. My 60 mods are much more, almost double, and even generally my speed mods are much better. So I think I have a slight edge in this much, and my opponent will probably be the underdog. But let's go to the actual match, and then let's take a look at how we face. All right, so we are in the first Grand Arena session, and my opponent has already gone ahead and attacked me. So let's take a quick look at my defenses and what my opponent has done, and then we'll move over to the attack phase. So I, just like the last couple of times, I decided to keep both my Revens on defense. At the top, I kept my Darth Revan team with a Candrass with Nest. Now the Darth Revan team, he did get a couple of battles on it, but he wasn't able to beat it. And then Candra's team by itself is pretty weak. Ewoks and Troopers and First Order can easily take it out, but all those teams rely heavily on assists and counters and all of that. So if you're able to put a nest in there, especially a fast nest, it prevents all of those counters, and you're forced to take in a much stronger team to take that out. So that's one way of making a weak team relatively strong, requiring a strong counter, is just add nest. Um, and below, the two zones below is what my opponent has cleared. I think my opponent is out of teams, but let me just show you what happened over there. I kept my Revan down south along with my Night Sister team as well. Both these had a couple of battles with them. I think my opponent kept his Darth Revan on defense and his Jedi Knight Revan on offense. So must have used his Jedi Knight Revan in a mirror match over here, taken a couple of battles and then gone through. And then on the sisters, I don't know if he used troopers first and then decided to go with Treya or something, but there were a couple of battles in this area as well. And at the back, what I'd done was I decided to keep my Grievous team, which ended up doing pretty well again, two two holds. And then this was a surprise team. This was a cheese team that I put in there. It was just some leftover Sith with the Droideka in there. But that ended up having three holes. So I'm thinking that my opponent either underestimated it or he'd already exhausted all his meta teams out front. But he took three battles against that particular um, team. At the top over here, also, I had some pretty light teams. I have my Django team without Nest, but with a pretty fast Bosk. So if he had crossed his my Darth Revan team and come here, would have had to face the Django team over there. And I also had my EP team. Now, usually, I keep the EP team on offense, but unless you go in with Thrawn, it's very difficult to end up with full health and full protection with an EP team. So I wanted to keep all those teams which had easy health and protection recovery on offense. And that's why I decided to keep the EP team on defense. But it probably looks like my opponent won't even reach these two teams. Okay, let's take a look at what my opponent has kept on defense. He's kept his Darth Revan team up here with a Bosk team, um, Bosk bounty hunters. The speeds are not that great on the bounty hunters. I can probably JTR it or something. And then down below, he's kept a weak first order team. Again, not very good speeds. I can probably use Evox or Imperial Troopers on that. And Night Sister team. They're all gold, but there's Acolyte there and not Spirit. So it should be relatively easier. And the mods, they're not as fast. And without Spirit, the offensive capability is just not there. So I'm not that worried about it as well. But let's go ahead and take out the Darth Revan first. Um, and then we can go for the other teams. So Darth Revan, I usually like to take my Padme team, but ever since G13 came out, it's becoming more and more difficult to one shot the Darth Revan teams. I usually Malik gets left over at the end, and I have to go in with a cleanup team or something like that to take it out. But let me just take my Padme team in there and hope for a one shot. But I should be prepared for a two shot as well. And that's why I have my first order team right below my Padme team, because I know that that's a really good team to go in with a cleanup for uh, for Darth Revan. All right, so let's take this in and hope for a one shot. Okay. All right, so they're going to go first, get a bunch of debuffs out. Okay, let's cleanse and get some protection up. All right, now let's pass this on to Annie so that he can apply some. No, he wasn't able to apply buff immunity. Let's try to get rid of Basti. Now, Basti is G13, so she probably won't die. Um, all right, let's just get rid of her. And let's do a mass assist on HK and try to take him out. There we go. Okay, we've got 19 stacks on Revan. We probably won't kill him with this, but what's going to end up happening is he's going to equalize, and Malik is going to do a drain force. But since my GK has some extra protection and bonus protection on him, he should survive the drain force. So let's go ahead and use this on Revan. There we go. Now this should finish him off. 9 stacks should finish him off. There we go. Okay. Now let's try to heal up GK, but first let's put some confuse on Malik. Let's just stick over here. All right, he just survived. That was good news. Okay, now I need to get some protection up over here. Or let me actually go and apply some healing immunity on Malik. And then let me heal up GK. All right, things are going okay. So he's gone. One more stack of confuse. Things are going okay so far, but the drain force might come any moment. I'm going to use a basic to apply some healing immunity and buff immunity. And let's go and stun him. And let's pass this over to GK to make him a little more tanky. And so since we've got confuse and buff immunity on him, I'm going to use AoE to just get a little more protection up. Okay, healing immunity, buff immunity, heal some more. This usually takes a while. But we'll get them down slowly, one by one. Basic and stun, almost done, and a mass assist. There we go. 54, not bad. At least it was one shot. So happy with the result. Let's go ahead and finish off the other teams. All right. So this one was, I think, one of the weaker Darth Revan teams in my group. The other ones, we had people with 3 or 4 G13s on the Darth Revan teams. So it'll be great if I have luck like this on the other matchups. But this one in particular was slightly weaker, which is why my Galactic Republic team was able to do a decent enough job. Right, let's go ahead and use JTR on this team and finish that off. All right. And yep, this is the team I usually like to go with. The team is relatively slow. I think the boss was only 230 or 240 speed or something like that. Nothing much. And there's no Django lead, so it's not much of an issue. Let me get some burning out there so that the turn meter can be reduced. Now, Boba Fett is the biggest threat, so I'm going to go after him. Let's apply some more days. There, Boba is gone. I won't be able to hide anyone, but I can. Let me try to stun Bosk. There we go. Now let's get rid of Django. So if Django was in the lead, then let's keep reducing the turn meter over there. So if Django was in the lead, then this would have it would have prevented turn meter on burning. So that's something that we luckily don't have. Okay, so let's see if we can't try to heal up a little bit more. All right, let's just finish him off. And let's go after Bosk. There's no point going after Dengar since he's just going to stealth. Okay. Let's see if we can't. No, I don't think we'll be able to stun him. It's okay. Let's just keep working on them. I think we'll lose a few banners. Let's see if we can't heal someone. 20% protection. Who needs it? I think it's R2D2. Let's see if we can't drag. Oh, we can't. I wanted to drag it out a little bit more because I was close to the second Illuminated Destiny. Um, it's okay. 58 points. Let's see what's behind this, and then we can decide what to take down below. I get to see whether my opponent went defense heavy or defense light. Okay, so they went really, really defense light. I'm sure even behind the bottom zone, there'll be nothing much. So we've got nothing to worry about. We can probably get a few undersized uh, things done. All right, so what can I use against this? Let's use troopers against this. Or let me use actually Ewoks against these. They're weak knights, weak first order teams, so Ewok should be perfectly fine for that. And I saw the health on the crew; it wasn't much. It was just about 30k or something like that, and not much tenacity as well. And it's a single Zerat crew, no first order stormtroopers, so Ewok should be more than enough for that. All right, so there's not going to be a pre-taunt. Let's try to get rid of first order officer. I'm going to call low gray to assist. Where's low gray? There you go. And then I'm going to reduce this guy's turn meter and daze everyone. What does this do? Taunt. All right, let's hide Elder. Let's clear the stun from Paplu, and then let's go after first order executioner. He is hitting hard. All right. Okay, let's keep doing that. Now let's finish Phasma. Let's try to finish Phasma over here. See if we can't recover some protection and health. Let's daze some more. Recover some health. Might not recover protection on everyone. Okay, hide Helder again. Keep working on them. We do have 2.5 minutes. All right. One big hit from Wicket should do it. Okay, now this guy is easier to take out. There we go. 56. Mm, could have probably gone with a stronger team over there to end up with slightly more banners, but for me, winning is more important than banners. My style of playing is I play defense heavy and then don't bother much about efficiency. I feel that the excess points, 1,000 points that I get from winning is much more important than bothering about small points. But having said that, in weak matches like these, if you do get easier matches like these, you should try to go with good efficiency and try to clear as much as you point, as much as you can, clear as many feats as you can in order to get ahead. Um, so on this one, on the sisters, this is a weak sister team, but what I wanted to do was um, take in my geos and show them as a counter to the sisters. Now I have a G11 Geo team with the Zeta on the unique on Brood, um, and I used in the last TW to take out a relatively tough Night Sister team, and I wanted to showcase this. So I wanted to save my Treya and any other strong counters, meta counters that I used to use against the Night Sister team for the back wall, and I think the Geos are a good option to replace Treya as a counter to Night Sisters. So now, right now, my geos are mostly G11, Sunpack is G10, and only Poggle and Geo Soldier are G12. But hopefully, I'll be getting all of them to G12 soon, and that should make this counter much more reliable. But I just want to go in here and show you that that Geos also can be a decent counter to sisters, even if your sisters are faster. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to save my conscription, which is the health and protection recovery for later, and just go with the second ability. And conscription is I'll use the conscription ability now when I get it next, um, because I'll be able to heal with that guy. Okay, so let me taunt and let's clear off Daka. So that's the first win. Okay, um, so I lost one of the guys. Not ideal. All right, let's see if we can't get the heal out. Oh, I think I'm gonna lose this. I got a few bad stuns on the geos. That's unfortunate. Oh, um, so geos may not be as reliable against sisters, especially if you get the stuns at the wrong place at the wrong time. It probably won't be a reliable counter. Um, that's fine. We have some room in this match to experiment, just because my opponent is not going to be able to clear me. So I did lose out a little bit on efficiency, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and clear it with my Treya. I should have probably used my troopers. That would have been a much better counter against this. But I'm going to use my Treya, and hopefully these guys should be enough. We don't have um, a spirit in there, so I think these guys should be enough to do the job. Yeah, I need to get my geos much higher, and maybe a little tenacity on brood might be required. That might help prevent some of the stuns. Okay, now I'm going to keep the isolate on zombie and then try to get rid of some of these other characters. Wait for the annihilate to come. Days, and let's annihilate Talzin. And we can finish this off pretty easily. It should be the first loss, and then um, let's wait for the second um, death, and then we should be good. Okay. All right. Mm, let's isolate Dhaka, and I want to see if the revives aren't exhausted. If you isolate someone, do they still come back with the zombie-free revive? That's what I want to see. All right, so isolate prevents zombies free revive, so that's good to see. All right, now let's take care of Asajj, and we should be good. All right, so this became a little messy, but I'm still in the search for a decent Night Sister counter. Um, and this was a weak one also, which is why I'm a little surprised that the geo counter didn't work. Um, but I think yeah, I think yeah, I think the geos can work. Um, I just have to refine my technique. Maybe my modding needs to be adjusted a little bit. All right. Just wait for Scion's Dispel to come around. Oh, we had his Dispel. There we go. Okay, this is irritating. Okay. Problem is, Acolyte gains full turn meter on anytime she goes below 100% health. So now she's going to end up taking a turn again. There we go. Oh, but she revived again because zombies free revive. Damn. I thought that was taken care of. Don't tell me I'm going to time out again. "15 seconds. This is cutting it close." All right, 2 seconds. That was exciting, but we made it in the end. So, yep, another mistake over there. I should have exhausted all the revives, especially if you're facing an Acolyte cheese team. Exhaust all the revives before going after Acolyte, otherwise you'll end up in trouble. Okay, let's see who we have in the end. Um, Maybe a Padme team. Yeah, it's all weak teams, so it won't be an issue. All right, so we have all our meta teams left. We should be able to take care of this pretty easily. Let's see which are the toughest teams around here, and let's take care of them first. And this will, since we have weak teams at the back, it'll give us a chance to catch up on efficiency a little bit and some banners. Definitely the team at the top is pretty weak. Let's use Padme versus the. Let's see what we have left. We have First Order, we have CLS, we have. Oh, we don't have Padme. That's right, forgot. So First Order, CLS, um, and then we have Basti and Prepared Team. Okay, so it's some pretty good teams. So definitely CLS and First Order I'll be using below over here. Um, or maybe I'll use the Wampa with the Basti team against Kira. Mm, yeah, it's got dispels. Um, what else do I have again? All right, so let's. How tanky is this nest over here? 252 speed and 29k health. Hmm. All right. Um, could use my CLS over there, but again, CLS versus Nest, I don't think I'll do that. Okay, let me just go with the Wampa with Basti. And I'll go in undersized over here. Mm, or should I go in with Visas? No, I think this should be enough. Or let me just put in Barris over here. Let's not take a risk against this team. Okay, let's give this to Wampa. Let's give this also to Wampa. Apply some days. And right, so there is no Vandor, so this is actually easier. Let's get rid of this taunt. And all right, so it's a good thing I took in Barris because Barris unique cleared the days from Wampa. All right, so Johanny cleared off um, L3, so that was useful. Healing immunity. Let's give this to Basti. Some days. Let's get rid of Salbar. And now let's go after Nest. Let's give this to Wampa. And yeah, there should be no problem. So this is my new favorite team to use Wampa with, which is um, Basti and Wampa. Because the problem with it's easier to end with full health and full protection going with the Basti team just because of the protection bump. And Wampa anyway has a bonus protection. So it's by the time that they chew through that, he's still ending up with full protection. The reason I don't like Rex anymore with Wampa is that even though the protection regeneration is great, Rex is so squishy. He's always going to end up losing protection, sometimes health as well, and a lot of times he just dies, and that's a -3 points just there. So it ends up hurting your efficiency game even if you end up going undersized. So I've started shifting to moving towards Wampa under Basti rather than Wampa under Rex. Um, it's a it's a much better way to go, in my opinion. Um, all right. Now against this one, mm, what we have the Ewoks over here. All right. Let's use. Should we use first order against this one? Oh no, Wampa's got days, so he's going to end up screwing with us. Let's see what else we have. We have a prepared team. Well, let's get rid of the Ewoks with troopers first. I think my speed should be okay for that. All right, let's finish them off. What else do I have left? I have CLS prepared and crew. So I don't need to go in with the troopers. I can go in with some of these other teams. Um, yeah. When you come down to the last few teams and you know exactly what you have to beat, best not to take a risk. It's best to just overkill. Um, so what do I use against these guys? So maybe I'll use CLS against this one. Mm, hmm. There's no mission Zalbar. Yeah, and then I'll just use the some of the other teams over there. Okay, so rebels. Let's go undersized on this one. Um, yeah, let's go with that. All right. So apart from Wampa, the rest of them are really not a threat. So I'm just going to stun Wampa first, take him out. And these guys have so many AoEs that they end up killing themselves. And I think this will also complete my undersized squad quest for this Grand Arena match. Probably could have done without Scarif Rebel Pathfinder, but 60 banners nonetheless. All right, so the other two teams won't be an issue. It'll be should be pretty simple. Let's use troopers against Ewoks. Or should I use my prepared squad? Nah, let's just finish them off with troopers. I know troopers are reliable. The thing with Ewoks is you don't want to give them a single turn because if you do, they can end up really ruining your efficiency. All right, let's go after Elder. Yep, That's the key to Evox. Never let them use a single turn. All right, 60 banners there as well. And then let's see what we have on top. We can probably go undersized on this one. It's a weak team. Um, yeah. What do we have left? We have crew, so we can probably just who else do we have? We have Thrawn. Thrawn will help to recover some protection and health. Why didn't I use Thrawn before? Hmm. Maybe just these guys should be enough. Yeah, it's a pretty weak team. Shouldn't be an issue. All right, let's stun Zeb first, or the main damage dealer is Ezra, and fracture this guy. Some more turn meter. Let's work on him. Stun him. Okay, pass a turn meter back to him. Keep taunt on him. And let's stun this guy again. Should be reasonably easy to recover protection on crew. Let's finish off this guy. And then Sabine. Stun this guy again. And pass some protection back to crew. Stun her. And let's keep the protection on. Let's stun her again. Okay. Let's try to get some more protection back to crew. And there we go. Now we lost a little on Kylo, but hopefully he should recover with this. All right, 62, got full health and full protection. Okay, so let's see how much we ended up with. 1888. Not too good. I should aim for more than 1900. But the important thing is I got a win, and those 1000 points are much more valuable than efficiency wise. So I think I'm going to play the game that I'm comfortable with, which is defense heavy. So, so here's the thing. If you go offense heavy, then the burden is on you to not make a mistake and to play a perfect game. Because if you make any mistake if you go defense light and offense heavy, and if you make any mistake, you can't count on your opponent. Your opponent is going to be perfect and clear you, and you're going to end up losing. So any mistake that you make if you're going offense heavy is on you. But if you're going defense heavy, the burden of not making a mistake is on your opponent. You can afford to make a few mistakes on your offense if you've gone defense heavy. So me, I'm not a perfect player. I make tons of mistakes, as you've seen if you followed my videos, and um, I like to experiment with stuff as well. So I that's why I can't rely on my offense being the key to me winning my matches, which is why I go defense heavy, which allows me some breathing room whenever I'm facing. Um, which allows me some breathing room on offense. So if you remember in my last Grand Arena match, I had a bug where my Treya team could not defeat a Grievous team. It got stuck on the loading screen. and I couldn't clear the territory as a result. But despite that, because I'd gone defense heavy, and my opponent couldn't clear me as well, I ended up winning that match. So in those kind of cases, so that's what I mean when I say that the burden of making a mistake is on your opponent. You Even if you make tons of mistake when you're going defense heavy, you still have a very strong chance of winning, just because you've given yourself that much room. And to me, those 1,000 extra banners are definitely much more important than trying to pick up 5 or 10 banners here and there. So that's going to be my style in Grand Arena, and it's probably not going to end up getting me top 50, top 100, or even top 200 in Kyber, but my goal is just to reach Kyber, and as long as I do that, um, I think I should be happy. All right, I think we've got completed one feat, so let's go ahead and claim that. So this feat, the underdog feat, it's only valid for this particular Grand Arena, 14 hours. So if you haven't yet had a battle yet, make sure you have at least one undersized squad in Grand Arena so that you can collect this feat. It's about 70 banners. Um, so that's this particular feat is going to disappear after 14 hours. So go ahead and claim it also after you get it done. Otherwise, you're not going to see it again afterwards. Um, and then the other stuff, you've got more time on that. On the going strong 8 Grand Arena attempt battles on your first attempt, you've got 4 days, 3 Grand Arena matches to do that. The 15 Fleet Arena battles, you've got 5 days to do that as well. That should be no problem. And for the other feats, we've got a whole month. The Know Thy Enemy, Tactical Advance, and Bronze Promotion. And these last two, Know Thy Enemy and Tactical Advance, they're part of a series. So the Tactical Advance is one of two, and Know Thy Enemy is one of three. So it's uh, it's helpful to complete these feats as soon as possible, so that you can move on to the second and third versions of these feats, because you've got 26 days to complete all two or all three versions of that feat. So keep that in mind, and don't dally too much on those feats. So for example, the undersized squad, I should have probably used this opportunity to go undersized a little more and try to complete this feat by maybe another two more, so that I can get a head start in the next Grand Arena match with the number two of this series of feats. All right, so that was it for this session of Grand Arena, the first match. It was a weak matchup. I wasn't too worried about it. I think the next two matches will be pretty intense, which is the way I like it. So I'm looking forward to that match. So the next match, the second one, I'll probably be a little busy on Saturday and Sunday. I'll be traveling out of country, and I'll be with company, so I probably won't get a chance to record my Grand Arena match. But I should be able to record match number three, which is going to be the finals. And I can give you an update on what happened on my second Grand Arena match during that match. All right. So keep on gaming, enjoy your Grand Arena, and I'll talk to you guys later.